Check, 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 1, 2, check. Test 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
you want to try these again, these might work now. I think they're okay.
Yes.
I think we can use.
Okay.
Let's put this. Test. Testing.
Can you ask Lauren, where's he's going to set up that cedar area, or has he done it?
Oh, he said he wasn't going to do it.
I know it's this one.
He didn't get an answer.
Okay.
These work now.
Okay, just short one, and then have the Jayli's kids come in.
Drop that back.
Oh, we're going to small boat. Are you ready? We've got Lanny Real Bird down. They drop you there. Teach language with his hands. Ask for your kind attention. If you're ready, come sit down and give your attention here today. Thank you.
Oh. We're going to have a prayer for the Newtown students at this time. Would I ask you to join these good people in prayer from your heart? Remember, the purpose that we're here is for our language, for the future. It's how we express freedom. We have the freedom, as these children do, to speak in the Hidatsa language. There is a freedom that we might not know when our lives are committed to English, somebody else's language. And I'm sort of honored to have these young people making a new road for many people too.
Yeah, good afternoon. I was asked by Lanny to say a few words about the importance of what you guys are going to be learning today. I'm a little older than a few people in here, except my grandma myself. She's always younger than me. What I'd like to make mention of is that at one time there was four languages spoken on the Fort Russell Reservation: Mandan, Hidatsa, Arikwa, and sign language. And with the use of that sign language, a lot of the men and women would be able to talk to each other and learn each other's language and customs by talking to each other. I remember my father talking with somebody and they'd answer him in Mandan, and he'd look at somebody else and talk to them in Hidatsa, and they'd answer. They were Red Cross, but they'd answer in Mandan or Hidatsa. That's how much that language is transposed between the different tribes up there. So a lot of the tribes learn to speak each other's language by the use of that sign language. So I really wish that more people could be here today to learn this. This is really important. There's there's two things that the bean counters, people that are working in finance, they say it's language and culture. No, for me, when I look at things, I see it as language is culture, culture is language. They're one and the same. When we make our prayers, they're in our language. When we do things, when we greet each other, when we see each other, we respect each other, we call each other by our relationship. We acknowledge that relationship. And that's part of our culture. And we use our language to do so. So to me, it's really important that you guys learn this.
Go ahead.
Lanny was bringing some books up to Fort Berthold, and I talked to him and I asked him to allow some to be sold here. They're hit outside volumes 1 and 2, I think 3, and then there's also a CD that goes with that, and then a booklet.
Testing.
Because of your the instructor from Utah, I'm really proud of what this young girl has been able to do. I watched her, and I'm really proud of her. So, in our way, when you want to honor somebody, you do something good because of them, for other people to get the benefit of it. So, because I'm proud of her, I'm going to buy the books for all these kids up here and CDs. So, that'll be something for your kids to take home. You take care of it, use it correctly. And that's about all I have to say. If anybody wants to correct me later on, wait till I eat.
Oh, let's give Harry a nice round of applause for looking after our children like this. Appreciate your holy lot, Lala. At this time, I'm going to share a few points on this screen up here and just make some comments about our languages here. First of all, my name is Lanny Real Bird. I'm a member of two tribes, or I guess all of you guys. MHA, my motherland, is among the Sanish people. But then when I say I'm Crow, people think I'm different. Then I'm Crow. When I first got here, they used to call me, over in Parcel, they used to call me Crow Boy. And then when I was in Crow, they called me Ree Boy. And one of these days I was thinking, maybe one of these days I'm gonna name, if they ask me to name a child, Indian name, I'm gonna name him Ree Boy because it made me tough. Made me try to, sometimes I was like a second-class citizen. And I had to be faster than most because I was being chased through alleys and streets at Parcel. Okay, at this time I want to just say that the Plains Indian Sign Language is the original language of this homeland. Welcome home to the language. I've been trying to convince these people about this for almost like 20 years, and it come to this point, we finally have something formal. This was the original language when the different bands of the Hidatsa and the River Crow and the Mountain Crow came over, and they joined in hundreds of years ago. When our Sanish people came upstream and separated from the Pawnee, what was their language? It was the sign language. Are we ready for that? Okay, I need to use my hands, and that's how I've been doing this, and it's hard to use sign language when you have one. I have to go back to this. One of these, I need to use this one here, testing. Okay, testing, okay, good, very good, thank you. So I need to use my hands because, this is the land here. And our people, they've been over here for probably about 500 years they've been here. And at that time, many of the Hidatsa and Crow were one. And then the Mandan, we were all together. And then our Sanish people. If nobody knew each other's language at the time, what did they use? They used sign language. And that's the original language. And the thing about it is it's in our DNA. It's in our system. Like, for example, I'm going to ask these students, like if we were playing charades, what would this be? Yeah, what would this be? Okay, if I said, do this, what am I asking you to do? Okay, so we're just basically doing what's in our natural bodies. So like if I looked at the sky and I pointed at something and I said I said it in our language, it was rolling by. What am I referring to? The clouds. Okay, like for example, if the day was like towards evening and I was going down and I put my hand down like this, I'm kind of gesturing nature. And what am I saying there? And like in charades, sundown. So you see that all of this is natural. In one way, we got to forgive ourselves and heal ourselves from the indoctrination of the Western world, because they forced English on us. They really brainwashed a lot of our people in those boarding schools, parochial schools, and military schools. And we have to forgive ourselves and forgive those who have been indoctrinated, because we have a different way of thinking from our grassroots ways. There's just so much distortion here. There's some problems here. I'm getting a lot of feedback here. And that's kind of uncomfortable for some of you, I know. So what we have is an international language here. This is like a natural language we're imitating. Like, for example, this is the wind. It's like the wind going. Like in a winter time, when we're describing snow, we're doing this number when snow comes down. Some of us could actually say it's raining, and it's basically coming from us, from our Native American worldview. It's like when we're looking up at the stars, we describe it like that. There's something shining and almost like a cross. All of this is just natural. It's already in our bodies, so there's no reason to say that it's not. When I went to school at Partial, I was so influenced by the Crow that my grandmother was hard of hearing, my uncle was hard of hearing, my dad was hard of hearing. I'm beginning to be hard of hearing. I told my family that they're going to have to start using sign language with me. And can you hear me now? Because the volume went down. Can you still hear me? Oh, Richard, come up here. It is only, Richard. Yeah. It's only proper to ask our chief of my people to give a welcome. And I see that he's here. And he's seen me working with children and white children, seeing how they could learn Sanish language real easy with sign language.
Jade, to all of you, it's good to see all of you here that you can learn something about that sign language. Some of you younger students, one day will, might not happen now, but you might venture off into another reservation, and some of the elders might not be able to hear, but you pick up this sign language here or either at your home place, and you can communicate with them. One of you young guys or you young girls that when you graduate from college here or wherever you, what university or college you graduate from, you'll know that you'll have that communication, sign hand language or sign hand communication with you. And you might find a boyfriend, or you guys might find a girlfriend, or that might be your future wife or husband, and you go to their reservation, and you might run into one of the older elders. They might be can't hear, but they might know something about sign language, and you can communicate with them. And that way you don't.
You've seen it. It works in White Shield. Tell them you've seen it work in White Shield.
I guess Lanny is telling me that I'm the senior that's working in White Shield. But
You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, and Lanny does a great job communicating with different native indigenous people on different reserves up in Canada or here in the United States. But I hope all of you will learn something from this, and this is a good teaching curriculum that's going to take place here. I thank all of you for letting me say something.
Oh, one of our primary chiefs of our nation. I'm going to ask our presenters to come on up, Jayli and Bugs, Bheri. Before I get to that, I want to point out just a couple slides here. Number one is this, that came from this flyer. I want you to notice the names on those. This book was made over 100 years ago. And at that time, the pictures, the actual diagrams of those pictures are from our ancestors here. Poor Wolf, son of Star. Do you think they just put that up for a joke? A lot of the mainstream education systems and the political world of the United States don't want you to talk some of your language, so why would they put that up there? And at the same time, I want to add another slide, and then I want to turn it over to my co-presenters here to get some background. Here's one of the key points that I want to make. On rare occasions, when linguistic obstacles arose, the villagers turned to what scholars today call the plain sign talk, one of the most effective means of nonverbal communication ever devised. One eyewitness in the 19th century, this is in the actual 1700s. Okay, so they're saying that it's found it surprising how dexterous the Mandans and their neighbors were at communicating their ideas in signs. Everything that, like I said, this is being the original language. They had to know signs before they became a union. So then they held conferences for several hours. Can you imagine that? Nowadays, we do everything in English, and we kind of forget about that we have a language, the Hidatsa or the Mandan or the Rikara. And that's what's going on. And upon different subjects during the whole time, not a single word would be pronounced upon either side. So you're talking about the Mandan, the Hidatsa, the Rikara, their neighbors, could be the Cheyenne, the Lakota, it could be the Crow, it could be the Assiniboine, it could be the Cree, the Chippewa, Ojibwe, all of these nations, even including the people that passed through here at one time, like the Pawnee, we're looking at some of the Comanche. Sometimes passing through here, we had the Cheyenne, we had people passing through here like the Shoshone. We had people who came here from all walks of life to trade here. You guys were the Wall Street of the world, and they had to have a language to communicate, to trade, to buy things from each other, to give things to each other, to receive, to own something, for everybody to give that, like my son did, to give all these students these books. Okay, that's what I wanted to present at this point, and then I'm going to ask my co-presenters to share some feedback here. TJ Thomas Jr. Share a little bit about his perspective here about sign language.
Can everybody hear me good? I just want to say, Jid Sanchitu, Gutaka, Wachishuta Tirko, Waita Ahu, Achitanu Taucht. My name is Thomas Plenty Chief Jr., and I come from the 3 affiliated tribes over on the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation. I grew up around Partial area in Newtown area, and that's kind of where I resided inside of my life. And, you know, I want to thank you all for coming over here to our sign language event over here. And, you know, we've been kind of coordinating it for a couple months, and I'm really grateful to see a good turnout with all of you coming over and showing some interest in it. And I was visiting with my uncle Lanny, you know, maybe like maybe about 6 months ago, and it was kind of crazy because you know, I really look up to my uncle Lanny here with language work. You know, he does a whole lot. He knows a lot. He's a very intelligent man, you know, and he's really educated on these things. So I kind of turn to him a lot when it comes to different statistics about the language, and you know, we have a really good relationship like that. And about 6 months ago, you know, I had a dream actually, and my uncle Lanny, he wanted me to tell about it, you know, and inside that dream we were actually doing sign language. We're standing there, and I was learning how to do sign language with my uncle and one of my brothers. And then then this morning we got here, and then my uncle, he was happy. He's like, hey, you know, you had that dream, and now look at, we're here, you know, it's really awesome, you know. So it was like a good feeling, like a good calling, you know. And you know, sign language, it's a, you know, it's a really unique thing that we have as Indian people. Indian Plains sign language, you know, Uncle Lanny and Richard, they kind of covered a little bit about it, and kind of most of it for the most part. But you know, a long time ago, from my understanding, is a lot of Indian tribes, they used to use it a lot. You know, they would use it in this area here too. If you look in this area, Bismarck, Mandan area, around this river here, there used to be a whole big trading system that used to go through here with Mandan people, Hiratsa people, Rikra people, and a lot of different Indian tribes. They used to come and they would trade corn, they would trade tobacco, and all the different things that we grew as MHA people. And one way that they would communicate when they didn't know someone else's language is they would use the Indian Sign Language, and that's how they spoke to other tribes. Or maybe there was times where they'll be out hunting, maybe they're sneaking up on some deer or some buffalo, and they can't say nothing, you know. So they would look to their brother or whoever is with them, and then they would use Indian Sign Language to communicate what they needed to in order to be successful in hunting. So there's a lot of tribes around that used it around the Indian Plains, you know, like the Cheyenne, Crow, our MHA people, Mandan, Hiratsa, Rikara, Kiowa people down south used to utilize it too. You know, so it was pretty well known amongst a lot of Indian tribes all over Turtle Island. And it's really good to do these kinds of things to try to keep that going, because, you know, maybe one day we might get to that point again where we're talking in our languages, doing this work, having some success, and then maybe we won't have to switch to English because we'll have Indian Sign Language, you know. And then that's a kind of a good idea I have, you know, about it. I think that would be something really unique to see. And then when you learn language too, you know, as a language learner, there's kind of a science. There's a science inside of moving your body and then saying a word, and it helps that word to stick inside of your mind more better. I think the education system, they call it TPR, or total physical response. Sometimes when you get a feel for something, and then it touches your senses, and then it helps that word to stick better. So even with language learning as well, whenever you talk sign language and you say a word, maybe it might be yeah, you might say ha, and you're doing that motion. It kind of helps that language word to stick better too. So then that way you remember it too, and then you can utilize it inside of your life and stuff like that, And language revitalization, it's really important, And if any of you have any interest in it, I encourage you very highly to maybe ask some questions or get some material and try to start practicing, because through our language, when you really look at our language inside of all of our indigenous languages, maybe if you break apart a word, you might find a certain philosophy that's inside of that language, a way of thinking and a worldview, a way to look at everything inside the world. And inside of that philosophy, you'll find the culture of our people. So that's why a lot of times they say language and culture, they go hand in hand. And then through all of that, when you learn your language, and you find your identity as well as an indigenous person to whatever tribe you come from. So it's really important for us to keep our identity and reclaim our identity as indigenous persons, because a lot of us, we lost a lot of our language, and now we see it coming back, So I encourage a lot of you youth here to maybe if you have some interest, ask some questions or get some emails, get some materials, and just start making that good effort. And you never know, you might end up being a fluent speaker one day. And then it'll be really good, because then our children, our grandchildren, and all the future generations that come, they'll have something. So that's kind of like the way I kind of look at language revitalization. Every single person who does this work, I really commend them a lot, and I really appreciate them a lot, because it's a real hard work, and it's really important work. And every single day they teach somebody, every single day they learn something that's more language that our grandchildren get to have. And I think it's a really beautiful thing, and I don't want to talk too much, and I just want to thank you all for your time. So, Noah.
I'm gonna test this. All right, okay, so cool. Dishkani doja. Mira se stuf minagi gochike ehni doj. Hello, everyone. My name is Bheri Rose Hallam. I am the Mandan language mentor for the 3 affiliated tribes. Mandan, also known as Nuit. And I'm from Twin Buttes. I come from the spotted bear and 4 near families. I lived in Twin Buttes until my senior year of high school, and then I moved to Newtown and went to college there. But one of my top motivators for being in the language was my grandma, and Alice Spotted Bear. So she spent a lot of time just being with me and teaching me how to learn all these things that she didn't get the opportunity to learn when she was growing up. Her father was fluent in both Mandan and Hiradza, but he decided he wouldn't teach his children the language because he didn't want them to have a hard time when they were going to have to go to boarding school. So she never got that opportunity to learn. And so that really motivated me to almost learn on her behalf and my own, because I had the opportunity to learn. The last fluent speaker, Edwin Benson, was one of my teachers when I was growing up in Twin Buttes. And so I think just like what Harry was saying in the beginning, culture and language, they go hand in hand. And I wouldn't want anyone to feel like they're missing out on anything. And so one of my goals is just to share as much as I know And I really appreciate all of us being here, especially with the sign language. So that would basically make you fluent in all the languages if you think about it, you know? But one thing I will note is it's real easy to convert the Nuita language into sign. But converting it from sign to the language is another story for us. We were given a few minutes to talk about the importance here. So I'll give you a little bit more background about the Nuita language. So for us, it doesn't matter who you are, it's who you're speaking to. So I would speak to a man differently than I would to a woman. So when I introduced myself, I said, hello, my name is, hello, Dishka, Nito Osha, is to a group. But it's like saying, how's it going, everyone? But, so, I'll cover that a bit when we do our signs. But I just wanted to go over that in the intro so you guys won't be too confused when we do the language portion later. But yeah, I'm also Knife Clan. I spent a lot of time going between here, Bismarck, Newtown, and Twin Buttes growing up, and there's a lot of awesome sites out here, you know, that our people came from, basically. So I appreciate everyone being here, and it's nice kind of being back in our second homeland here.
Ní dóra ó madarach baga ó, míad idashi chabash. Maru adagíha séwa tarug mahé tarug I daba takawi guru. Mi machocharid hídid ganagads audihra shekwa maku ids. Mahush nashi ma ishuya sheds madush nashi girbi garishta sheds. I just want to excuse myself in front of my elders and our chief and just spiritual leaders and yeah, I just want to excuse myself. My Indian name is Holy Robe. My name is Jayli Fimbres, and I am the Hidatsa language coordinator for Culture and Language Department. In the front row here, I have my students. I'm contracted at the high school in Newtown to work with grades 9 through 12. And I'm really I'm really happy today to be here. Thank you all for coming. Before I got here, me and my students went to Chief Looking Village, and Madzukash Thomas was talking about how there's village sites all around this area. And so I remember not knowing about that until my mid-20s. And so I wanted to introduce our young people to our original homelands all along this river here. And the minute I got out of the bus, we were getting ready to go practice some of the signs, and Adzagaga baited on my head. And so my students told me that it means it's good luck. So Zagaga is, what's the sign for Zagaga? A bird, anyways. And so I knew it was gonna be a good turnout today. I've been working with a language since maybe 2016, I believe. I worked through a grant called the Endangered Language Endowment Grant before we had our department, and I would go around and I had the opportunity to visit a lot of elders in my community, and I'm really grateful for the time that I got to spend with our elders doing that, and a lot of my time I spend with youth now. So I took everything that I learned and I try to pass it on as much as I can. And I think it's really powerful and beautiful that we're Mandan, Hidatsa, Rikra, Lakota, all coming together to communicate with one another in this Matakwa language, this old ancient language, because as I was introducing the PISL, Plains Indian Sign Language, to my students, we watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and a lot of them, Lanny Real Bird was in them, and so I feel really honored to be working with all of the people that work in language here, because they're doing so much amazing work in our communities and with our people. And I think it's important to recognize those people and kind of go visit with them and introduce ourselves to one another, because we all are here for the same reason. We love our languages, we love our culture, we love our people. And so I think Matarogareha Ma'arugadi our language is sacred, and it's really important. God is like, it means true, or it means real. And so I think that's, I'm just really happy we're all here today to do what we all love and to show our passion and to help one another and be good relatives to one another. And so, yeah, I'm really passionate about this work. And does anybody have any questions for me? I feel like there's so much to cover within language revitalization and language work that it's hard to even know where to start when you're talking about the importance of it, or all of the things that could be done, because it's such a complex journey as a person who's trying to learn their language again, or learn about themselves and their identity. So I think that's all I want to share, unless anybody has any questions for me. Zagi. Alrighty, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for coming.
At this time, I'm going to do a presentation here that's going to shift gears. What I'm going to do is an actual showcase and detail of how people learn the language. But some of these students are going to see the resemblance of Crow and Hidatsa. So I'm going to teach everybody a few Crow phrases. Even though you might not like Crow, I want you to keep in mind that it's basically Hidatsa. It has some qualities of Mandan in it, because this was also, in old maps I seen, there was one area called the Light Crow Camp back in the in the 1700s. And over by Washburn, there used to be a Crow camp that's on a map. But that's not my point. My point here is that we're going to demonstrate how this works and how you can utilize it. And I've been doing this. That booklet there came along with some flashcards years ago. And can you imagine, it's almost 20 years when I did that. I brought these recordings I did with Randy Failing, and we did them at Little Bighorn College. And at that time, we did that in Crow, and then it was easy to do it in Onsa. And I went to the tribe to give it to them, and I said, "You just pay me the editing." Well, they didn't want it. And then I went to the tribal college, and said, "I'll give you all of this. I'll give you the templates for the flashcards and all the audio and the video," and they wouldn't do that. And then I went to a department, and they wouldn't do that either. So I talked to the late Marilyn Cross, and it's Marilyn Hudson, and I said, "Hey, I made all of these for the people here, and they don't even want it here." And she said, "Hey, wait a minute, that's wrong. I want you to make a whole bunch, and I'll put a reception together, and bring me 800. And we scheduled that reception about a month later. And in the meantime, I brought them 800 copies. She put a press release out. And all of those 800 and the flashcard were sold out like in a couple days. And then our tribal leaders at that time didn't want them, or they couldn't get them or something. But if I was thinking, geez, if I was a white guy, they probably would have bought them right there. But what the heck, come this far, it's 20 years that we come to this, what Junior sees in his dream. So, can you hold this over here, Barry? Right about here. Okay, do this motion right here. And we're gonna do the motion, okay? Do the motions like this. And this being, yes, I was actually teaching the day before. I was in Hamilton, Montana, and I was teaching a whole bunch of fourth graders, Giranza. And these are white. And then I was there for a whole day, and those white kids, they actually got that. They know more Hidatsa than anybody in that whole Bitterroot Valley. So it would be about the place. Okay. And then I went to Missoula, and there was a Russell school, and I used the sign language just like you students with Jayli. Oh, it's easy, isn't it? Sign language to learn Hidatsa. See that? See that? It's easy. It's in your mind. So then I took these students in Missoula in 3 days. I taught them close to 60 words and phrases in Crow instead. And those guys, those little kids, after 3 days were talking to me, not exactly the way that it's said or heard, but they were putting words and thoughts together in Crow, even though that it might not have been totally right on. But I knew what they were saying. I knew when they said, "Where are you going?" Postala. Eat a bat. Hey, who's this little one? Asking me who I am. And they were putting words together, but just in 3 days, mind you. And before I get to that, I got 2 points to point out. This thing about fluency is a myth. It's something that white people put in front of you to be a distraction. They want you to learn 30,000 words before you're fluent. That's in the white man's world. That's where they use reading and writing, where they use it for grammar and all of those distractions. The main purpose of language is communication. We just got to communicate. A healer from the Cree, an elder of the Blackfeet, his name is Marvin Weatherwax. We were in Great Falls at a presentation where Marvin and I had a conversation. He spoke to Kani and I spoke Crow back to him. And we had a conversation in a crowd like this. He said, "You know what, my friend, I only need 80 words in Pikani to talk to my people every day. There are some words that I might not use, like when the sun turns. I might not use that. It might be hailing. I don't use those all the time. I'm using words like, give her this, take that, go around this, come over this way, go to there, pick that up, lift this." These are some of the practical words. And he said that, Marvin Weatherwax said that, 80. And then Jay Eagleman said, "Hey, you know, you're right. I think I might be using only about 100 words in the four-body language to communicate every day." Think about that. This delusion or this distraction that the Western world had put in front of you saying you need 3,000. You don't have to do that. All you got to do is be able to communicate. And that's my point here. Okay.
I'm to hold this microphone up for that long.
did about 15 to 20 words, but at the end of that 15 to 20 minutes, all those kids, they were able to do sign language, so it was really good. They picked it up really fast, and it was really awesome to see. So, you know, a lot of this this methodology that my uncle has here, you know, it works really good. You know, and I'm a witness to that. Even at Wakefield School sometime last spring, he came over, and then we had a workshop over there too. We had different groups come in, and then they were doing sign language just that same way he was just showing you guys just how, you know, he would demonstrate it, and then we would say it to each other, and then by the end of the day, pretty much the whole Wakefield School, they do sign language and do about 15 to 20 words, you know, per session. And people were even signing it and you know, kind of having fun with it. Always, it was really good, you know. So you know, I'm a witness to the methodology that it works. So I'll say that much.
A principal walked in one class before this event that Junior was talking about, and that person was Tanshtaga. And one of the students, Wakefield, Tanshtaga. Speed it up a little bit. You know, so these students know Really loud. What time? It's just a few like to introduce the mastermind behind this organization, Warren White Jr., and he's going to introduce the system of how we're going to break out into groups here. And let's give him a nice round of applause for doing something like this. And he's bring us all together in a big place. Really awesome. He cares and loves his upbringing, his heritage, his culture, and more than ever, his family. And he even cares about himself because the prayers behind him brought up to this day, as much as my son's dream brought us to this beautiful day as well. You want to break up? Explain it?
So yeah, right now we're going to go into a breakout, and we're going to go into learning from these amazing language mentors, each of the languages. So we're going to have Rikara, Kadasa, Mandan, and I think Mandan you can do Lakota, right? If there's anyone who wants to do Lakota. All right, so what